Well, alright, so don't you try to slow me down and walk around it, yeah. Oh, I'm sick and trying to strum along with your love song, say. So leave me here to pour another drink on the rocks.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Ben from Universal Audio, and today I'm joined by Grieves, and we're going to show you guys some tricks for recording hip-hop vocals using UAD and real-time processing using the console app.
Absolutely.
What's up, man? How you doing today?
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too.
Yes.
Let's start with what you're familiar with. So I heard that you like the 87, so I got a new one, not a vintage one.
It's perfect.
But new 87 AI.
Nice.
Let's pull up the Neve Preamp, the LA-2A, and I want to dial in the sound like what you're used to, and then let me show you some tricks that I like to use as well.
I'm excited. Let's do that.
So we got the 87 already hooked up. We're coming into analog 1. So I'm going to go in the Unison slot, pull up the Neve Preamp.
Mm-hmm. And look at how easy that is.
Yeah,
it's so simple.
Dude, in Real Studio, it's a couple of patch cables.
Absolutely, and even the 1073 itself, you know, there's a lot of other things to distract you. Mm-hmm. This is ultimately 2 knobs.
Yeah, this is really all you need. If you want Neve sound without any of the extra bells and whistles, this is where you go.
It's great.
All right, so we're gonna turn on the high pass, crank the gain, like 50, 55?
Let's go 55.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll leave the output where it is for now, and then I'm gonna come in here and throw the LA-2A. I'll just use the legacy one. This is the one that comes with every twin and arrow.
Perfect.
The way we've got this set up is I've got Pro Tools with your track already kind of pre-mixed a little bit. I've got an audio track in here. So I've set up under options, I've turned on low latency monitoring. Mm-hmm. So what this does is it allows me to record into Pro Tools, but we're not monitoring through Pro Tools.
So you're not getting phased out by
Exactly, because that's the thing where you get that just hint of delay that feels a little phasey and weird.
Yep.
That's just slightly not real time. We have it in UAD monitor mode, so we're gonna be
committing to the preamp, but not to the compression.
Exactly.
All right.
And then we're monitoring through this track, so I have to keep this unmuted so that way you can hear yourself in the headphones. But I'm gonna start slapping with the LA-2A, get you what you need in your headphones, and we'll do a take. So let's just do it. Feel free to yell at me, more gain, more reverb, whatever you need, man. All right, here we go.
Yeah. It sounds good. How am I looking? Yeah. Yo, I ain't no scholar, nah. I don't write no books. Shit, I done spent my money on last girl, honey, and she hates my guts, yeah. I paid my rent late now, so my landlord's angry. And all this shit keeps piling up and trying to hang me. I give my loving on the run, yeah. Well, alright now, so don't you try to slow me down and walk around it, yeah. Oh, I'm sick and trying to strum along with your love songs, hey. So leave me here to pour another drink on the rocks.
Sounds nice. You dialed me back a little bit, yeah?
Yep, so what I was hearing as you were doing it, you can actually see it here in Pro Tools. See how that thing's clipping a little bit there?
Coming in hot.
Coming in hot. So since we're not recording the LA-2A, I wanted to make sure what was going to Pro Tools for us later was usable.
Yeah.
So I backed the gain down on there, brought the peak reduction up so we're still hitting it nice and hard, and then used this gain so that way you were getting a good balance in the headphones.
Cool.
So now that we've got the gain stage all set up, we're hitting the LA-2A the way that you like to hear it. Let's commit to this, just for the sake of science.
I'm not scared.
And let's do a take with these settings, and then we'll jump into the Vox Box and see what we can dial up there.
Okay.
Check 1, check 2. Adjust my glasses real quick. Yo, hey. Ain't no scholar, no. Don't write no books. Done spent my money on last girl, honey. She hates my guts, yeah. I paid my rent late, so my landlord's angry. Now all this shit keeps piling up and trying to hang me. I give my loving on the run, yeah. So don't you try to slow me down and walk around it, yeah. Oh, I'm sick and trying to strum along with your love songs, hey. So leave me here to pour another drink on the rocks.
Yeah.
Nice, man. So I brought your gain up a little bit, so you got a little bit more of you as we were recording.
And it's buttery and it's crunchy, and I like the way that it sounds.
It's just that hint of saturation, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's that Neve color right there.
I like it.
All right, so let's reset this channel. Let me just come up here, do remove all, and then let's pop on that Vox Box.
Okay, and this is just a way to do it all in one.
So what's cool about the Vox Box is a very different character in terms of just about everything. It's still an optical compressor like the LA-2A, but with this one you actually get a chance to tell it how fast you want the attack and release. So for me, when it's a vocal, like always a fast release and kind of like that medium attack usually feels really good. For the gain, like the gain structure is a little bit weird on this plugin. To me, it always sounds the best when you put the gain at 60 and then you use
turn
this
the input down.
Exactly.
Okay.
Use this input knob to kind of get your way into it.
So does that mean you're getting more of the kind of harmonics out of the plugin by gaining it up and then inputting down?
Exactly. So this is basically enabling all the gain stages of the plugin, and then you're trimming your volume into that tube gain.
Yep.
So we got the high pass filter set at 80. It automatically carried that over.
100, I would lose a lot of that lower kind
You
of
start losing the proximity and
very whiteness in my beautiful silky voice.
Exactly. You know what it does work really well for though? Like if you're doing like a background vocal or something that you
Absolutely.
kind of want a little bit thinner and on the sides.
I do that all the time. Like all my vocal like hook dubs, I shelf them higher.
Yep, exactly. So we're just gonna leave the compressor on 3-to-1. You know, I'll kind of have you do a take, and I'll be balancing between the input knob here and the threshold knob. So that way we're kind of getting the gain structure, make sure we're hitting the compressor in a way that sounds musical. Make sure it's giving you enough level. We're getting the right amount of color to it.
There's I'm seeing some other things on there.
There's some other things. This thing's got some more tricks on the other side.
Yeah.
So it's actually got a de-esser built into it as well.
Super helpful.
Especially, vocals.
Like for me, a little scary on the way in.
Right.
But maybe you can hit me to some game.
Well, I want to hear what it sounds like first. So this is one of the things, and I'm sure you run into this like recording yourself, is you basically got to record it, listen back to it, record it, listen back to it, and you kind of dial it in that way, one after the other. So rather than just like going, full DS or full EQ and just, with whatever preset I have in mind, I like to leave those flat until I hear it with the track. And then, say I want to give you some more air or, tame some S's, then it's there and it's available to us. So, I'd love to get that stuff right from the jump.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So I'm going to leave those both bypassed for now, and we're just going to work on the gain and the compression and make sure you're getting a good mix in your headphones again.
Cool.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Check me out. Yo. Ain't no scholar, no. Don't write no books. Done spend my money on last girl, honey. She hates my guts, yeah. I paid my rent late, so my landlord's angry. Now all this shit keeps piling up and trying to hang me. I give my loving on the run, yeah. So don't you try to slow me down and walk around it, yeah. Oh, I'm sick and trying to strum along with your love song, say. So leave me here to pour another drink on the rocks.
It's nice. It's tighter.
It's tighter, right?
Yeah.
You hear the difference in that color, right?
I do.
It's a little less saturated than we were doing on the Neve Pre.
You can even tell just by looking at it. It's a little tighter.
Yep, the waveform's a little bit more controlled. And that's kind of the thing I like about the Vox Box. I love the LA-2A, but the fact that you can't change that release time, just being able to dial that fast release, you're getting a little bit more of that detail back. I mean, the 87 is just overall, that's always a bright microphone.
Yeah.
So I was hearing a few times, I'm like, sick. Yep.
Yeah, my S's are bad.
I heard that. So bring the de-esser in, put it at like 9K, and then mess around with the threshold. But what's dope is you can, on the meter, you can have it look at the gain reduction. You can have it look at the output from any stage of the plugin.
That's awesome.
So I'm going to leave it over here on DS, and now the meter, instead of telling me what the main compressor is doing, it's going to show me when the de-esser is kicking in. Because I don't want to do too much.
No.
Just like you said, this is on the way in. If we overdo it, we're not
ruin the take.
Yeah, we're getting nothing
Especially with de-essing, you get that.
Yeah, it would make you have a lisp, and people won't understand what you're saying. So just a little bit of that's going to go a long way. So let's do one more with the de-esser in there. Anything else you're hearing?
It did seem a little thinner than the first take in the low frequency range.
Well, it's funny you say that because it just so happens this is basically like a Pultec EQ. So
really?
It's like the mid EQ.
Yep.
So, but as you'll notice, it's got a lot more frequencies at your disposal.
Yeah.
So you get low peak, which kind of boosts up a low frequency, mid dip, which cuts out some mids, and it's got a high peak, which adds them back. So if you want a little bit more of that chest, just a little bit more, especially those like low notes, come in at like 150 and just like give it a touch of love.
Just a scotch.
All right,
let's check me out.
And let's hear what this one sounds like.
Let's check me out.
Y'all ain't no scholar, no, don't write no books. Done spend my money on last girl, honey. She hates my guts, yeah. I paid my rent late, so my landlord's angry. And all this shit keeps piling up and trying to hang me. I give my loving on the front, yeah. Well, alright now, so don't you try to slow me down and walk around it, yeah. Oh, I'm sick and trying to strum along with your love songs, hey. So leave me here to pour another drink on the rocks.
That's nice.
Yo.
That's nice. Wasn't my best take in the world, but that's nice.
That sound is nice. So I was taking like maybe 1 or 2 dB with that de-esser, and then when I got to sick, boom, jumped out to like 5 or 7. I was like, perfect, we got
Which is
de-esser.
where you want it.
Yeah, exactly. And then the rest of the time, like when you're in the rest of the verse, the main compressor is hitting like 5, 7.
Which
every
is a
once in a while,
nice.
it's a good amount of grab.
Yeah.
I think this is a
Did
sound.
you just trick me out to the Vox Box, dude?
I don't know, man.
All right.
Your Neve and LA-2A is a
Hey,
classic.
save this as I need to give Grieves this preset.
All right. Save as. Do you ever play around with like adding saturation or reverb?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah? One of my favorites, and it's a little bit more old school in a way, is actually, have you ever checked out Oxide Tape?
I've used it on bass, but I've never used it on vocals. Yeah, ever.
The cool thing about this one, it's a tape plugin, so it's tape saturation, but the controls are just so much easier. Like all you get is speed, EQ curve, noise reduction, input-output knob, and input or repro. They all subtly, change the color of it, but honestly, like most of the time I just pull it up, kind of crank the input until I'm getting the amount of drive I like, pull the output down so I'm gain matched. Even in the context of the song we're working on today.
Very bluesy, very...
Bluesy, soulful, like adding a little bit of punch, a little bit of push to that sound might sound pretty cool.
Let's try it.
Let's try it.
Ain't no scholar, no, don't write no books. Done spend my money on last girl, honey. She hates my guts, yeah. I paid my rent late, so my landlord's angry. Now all this shit keeps piling up and trying to hang me. I give my loving on the front, yeah. So don't you try to slow me down and walk around it. I'm sick and trying to strum along with your love song, say. So leave me here to pour another drink on the rocks.
Nice, it's crunchy,
did you
it's
feel that?
present. Yeah, but it's not too crunchy. It's not like, it's not distorted.
Yep.
It's not like industrial gothic music. It's not like old broken speaker. It's classy, it sounds really nice. And we just committed to that.
Yeah. What about reverb? Do you use reverb when you track?
I do. Back in the day, I learned a little trick to like slap a little reverb on your voice and you feel like you're singing in the shower again. And it actually did help keep people in tune a little bit, because this is before we had access to stuff that we have now, but like it was a little trick to keep you in tune.
Just filled a little bit of spaces in between the notes.
Exactly.
You use Pure Plate, right?
That's the only one for me. Yeah, that's the one. Once again, I like simple. Like if it's just me in the studio, and especially if I'm not committing to this reverb, I just want something that I can dial in super quick.
Yeah.
And
So,
look at it's.
I was gonna say, what's kind of your go-to? This is just whatever I had pulled up already, but low cut, what do you do, like 90?
Yeah, that's about right. I would probably go shorter on the time.
Okay.
Well, actually, we're singing, so yeah, let's try that.
Like that, it's like 3/4 of a second, somewhere in there. Do you do pre-delay or do you just leave that at 0?
I don't do pre-delay when I'm tracking just because I don't like the hey-ya.
That's gonna get a little slappy, yep.
That's my pre-delay sound. Hey-ya. Stupid.
Bass treble, just leave that flat.
You can leave it, maybe cut a little bit of the bass just so I'm not getting in the way of myself frequency range, because we got saturation, we got compression, we're actually boosting some low end, and that's all going into the reverb at this point, so it could get a little gunky.
All right, so we got wet solo, so yeah, we're using this as like a send return. So since this is over here in console, we're just gonna hear it in the headphones, but this is not gonna get recorded to Pro Tools.
Ooh, okay.
You wanna go check it out? Let's dial this in.
Ain't no scholar, no, don't write no books. I done spent my money on last girl, honey, and she hates my guts, yeah. I pay my rent late, so my landlord's angry. And all this shit keeps piling up and trying to hang me. I give my loving on the run, yeah. Well, alright. So don't you try to slow me down and walk around it, yeah. Oh, I'm sick and trying to strum along with your love song, say. So leave me here to pour another drink on the rocks.
Perfect.
So we've really kind of polished up the sound. We've really kind of dialed it in for the vibe of the song. We've dialed in the headphones, so you're hearing and you're getting inspired back in, not just from the music, but also what you're getting from your vocal.
And the vibe, yeah. Like we've matched the vibe to the song right now, which is dope.
Biggest question everyone's gonna have, do you use AutoTune? I'm not saying you need it.
No, well, I mean, clearly.
I mean, you don't. Like, I mean, that's the whole thing. It's like, literally, I'm not hearing things that are off at all, but does AutoTune a part of what you do usually?
Absolutely. Let's just piss people off or wake people up right now. Like, AutoTune is a product, right? But it's a tool. And the thing about that is a tool is generally made for more than one thing. A hammer you could use to build a house, you can use to break the house down too. This tool in particularly is well known for being overused, meaning that we're using it at 100%.
Yeah.
Which was seen by somebody and stylistically created to be a thing.
Correct.
And I personally find it genius. It's like taking something, you're like, what the hell was that?
There's a whole new sound. It's like going from acoustic guitar to electric guitar. Oh, this is a whole new world of sound that they didn't know they had.
Especially in hip hop culture, it has become a constant and a norm, and it's also something that a lot of people from, you know, my side of things, they're like, oh, you got auto-tune, blah, 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 you sucker. But let's be real, like you probably haven't heard a record, and I mean a record that you love, not like you haven't heard an auto-tune record. I mean, you haven't heard a record in the past 10 years that doesn't have it on it.
Correct.
You just don't understand what it sounds like when it's not 100% on.
Yeah.
And
because when it's obvious, when it's at 100, when the retune speed, you crank that all the way down, like you're going to hear the auto-tune, and it's going to be really obvious.
Yeah.
And that's an effect. And there's a lot of artists.
That's a choice.
That's a choice. It's
that
a
is 100% a choice.
creative decision to do.
Yeah.
Which is totally right for some music. But something like this, where you got, you know, this is a little bit more open, a little more natural sounding in general. A little auto-tune won't hurt it. No. But you got to have it at the right setting so that it's not trampling all over what you're doing.
So normally my go-to start with it is 50% flex tune.
Okay.
Just because that way I'm pretty transparent with the auto-tune. And if I'm hearing it at that point, I'm quite out of key.
Yeah.
So I would want to, we might want to think about punching or retaking the take. If I'm T-painting at 50% flex tune, we're way out of key.
We're way off.
We're really hoping we don't hit that right now.
And then you retune speed, you kind of leave it like 50-ish, or do you go a little bit faster?
I'd normally keep it just a bee's weenie, technical terms, past 50%.
All right, so bee's weenie, we'll call it 35.
Yeah.
Let's hear a take with this on. And again, we're just gonna print this stuff, man, because like it's cool to hear the comparison from track to track, what each of these effects is doing.
Yeah. Well, should we hit them with what they're familiar with?
Yes.
So let's go ahead and hard tune them.
Let's take that flex tune off, that retune on.
It's your mama's boyfriend, blah, 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 yeah. oh, yeah. Ain't no scholar, nah, don't write no books. Done spend my money on last girl, honey, and she hates my guts, yeah. I paid my rent late, so my landlord's angry. Now all this shit keeps piling up and trying to hang me. I give my loving on the run, yeah. Alright, so don't you try to slow me down and walk around it, yeah. Oh, I'm sick and trying to strum along with your love songs, hey. So leave me here to pour another drink on the rocks, yow.
I mean, it's fun, right?
You're a natural, man. How's that feel in the headphones to have that much auto-tune?
It's a lot going on in my brain, for sure. Once I kind of like leaned into it, it was kind of fun, because I know this song so well. But let's say you're like creating this song on the spot. Yeah. It could be distracting.
It's a little weird, because like your voice, you're hearing like the internal.
I'm hearing you that way through my headphones right now.
So let's put it under the Grieves setting. A little bit slower retune speed, some flex tune. So this should sound like how you normally sound, just a little bit more locked in the pitch every once in a while.
Yeah, and if for some reason we're getting a little warbly, feel free to dial me back. And we'll see what happens.
Cool.
A check one, check two now, yo, I ain't no scholar, I don't write no books. I done spent my money on last girl, honey, she hates my guts, yeah. I paid my rent late, so my landlord's angry. Now all this shit keeps piling up and trying to hang me. I get my loving on the run, yeah. Well, alright now, so don't you try to slow me down and walk around it, yeah. Oh, I'm sick and trying to strum along with your love songs, hey. So leave me here to pour another drink on the rocks.
Can hear it a little bit.
I heard
just
it
a little bit
here and there, but like that's kind of that modern sound that people are getting used to hearing.
Yeah, and know that we can dial that back 25% more, and you'll hear it even less, but I'll still be in the pocket pitch-wise.
Yeah, totally. Grieves, thanks so much, man, for showing me all of your kind of tricks for recording vocals. It was kind of fun to like bounce some ideas off of each other here today.
I learned something today, dude. I'm pumped. I'm super happy to be here. I mean, I've always loved what you guys do. You have and continue to just make it easier for us, and I love that. So.
Oh man, appreciate it. And yeah, thanks for sharing your song, your technique. So you guys can check out Grieves on the internet anywhere. Google it. And if you guys want to learn more about UAD plugins and real-time processing, just head to uaudio.com. You'll find other videos, tons of tips, sound examples, and videos showing you how to dig into these plugins. And I'll see you guys next time.